Hello guys, I'm not sure if this tutorial is needed because we're just using the same technique on the eyebrow. We're going to move down to the eyelid in this tutorial. So first of all, I need to do the rest of the eyebrow, which is the eyebrow going in to form the angry kind of expression, and then also the eyebrow goes out. Okay, so let's do that here real quick. I just need to create a new target. Okay, let's call it eyebrow front. Okay, and then let me start adding it. I need to have the symmetry on, of course, and then start to squeeze or pulling the vertex in. Okay, it's better that I can isolate the eyebrow here so it's easier to see. Okay, just pulling or dragging the geometry inwards. You have to understand that they're all connected, so you don't want to just drag a little bit. Everything have to follow when you drag other things around it. So it's like this, and also because of the squeezing happening around the eyebrow part, around this part, so some of the area, to maintain the volume, you have to drag them forward. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why blend shape is always needed, because of the complexity of deformations. It's not only moving things in one direction. Oftentimes when you drag a vertex towards one direction, it's gonna cause the other direction changes too, to maintain the volume, for example. So joint based is not able to do that, so you have to have blend shape anyways. Okay, just trying to push it more. And also you want to still maintain the smoothness of the edge flows, so the smoothness of the edge flow, so they are working with each other, not competing or forming any kind of wavy leg structure unless you need them, but otherwise you want to make the edge flow nice and smooth. I like it. Okay, now let me break it up into multiple ones. Oh, I need to load my code here. Blend taper, and that's my original shape. And then let's also rebuild the target here. Okay, drag the new rebuild target out. I don't need this one anymore, so let me delete it. Okay, and then let me break it up into two. This time I want to make them really close because I want to see their effect individually from left and right side. The closer those two division plane is, your shape will be more different, so there will be lesser smoothness between them. So that's what's the smoothness happening. The smoothness is happening between those two planes, but right now you see there's no geometry between them, so I'm essentially break this expression up into two very different shapes. Oops, I don't really need those, or those are previous ones I did for the eyebrow. Okay, so now I have two, and I just need to unparent those two and delete that one. And I think this is actually a very nice naming here. That's the right side, the other one is the left side. So select those two, and then let's right click on the facial expressions and add selection as target. Okay, now we have those two. And then I need some sliders to control them, so let me go create a slider here. and then let's call this front. Okay, and then drag this up. You can probably try to rename it if you really want to be able to, you know, see everything. See the name differently. You can rename it, and then for some reason it works sometimes. Probably that's because if you give it some limitations, then if you rename it, it's gonna, oh, it's okay here for some reason. I really have no idea. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so let me rename it back to front. Okay, and then because I have two sides, so I'm just gonna duplicate this one to create another one here. Okay, now let's go back to the node editor. Where's my blend shape? Okay, I cannot find it anymore, so let me clear it up and then go find the blend shape here. We can click on it. Oh, not there, actually, on the model. So that is the facial expression blend shape. Let's select that and add it in. So that's my blend shape. Let's also go to options and check off the add to graph on create. That will keep the graph like this no matter what happens later. So let's now connect the attributes. Right click on the red one, let's set active and select the facial expression, and then go up, and the same thing here, set active for the left one, and then let's also, oh, you know what, I think I did this wrong. That's the left side. So let's break connection here, just making sure. So that is the left side. It's supposed to be controlling the left side. The other one is the right side. It's supposed to be controlling the right side. Okay, like that. Oh, one more thing we can try differently is because the eyebrow goes left and right, you know, they're kind of like a horizontal thing, so we can change the prelimit to horizontal if you wanted to, you know. Something went wrong here. I'm not sure what's wrong with that, so let me delete that and duplicate this one again. Let's try to reconnect it. So break connection here, set active, and that's the right one, and I'm gonna use the positive X. For the other one, I'm going to use the negative X, you know. So now if I drag those two together, it's more like front. Okay, and I can control how much that is. Okay, now I can do the other direction. Let's go there and create a new target. I'm just gonna call this one eyebrow open. Okay, and then this time I just need to drag them away. So one thing you have to be trying to keep is that you don't want to drag them up and down when you're dragging them outside. That's because that's already being taken care of by the eyebrow up and down by those controllers. So you may want to separate those functionalities. Otherwise, when you combine them together, it's gonna look weird. It's like they both are in charge of something, the same thing, which is sometimes not that intuitive. So let's just only keep dragging them out, not dragging up and down here. The same thing happens to the front, and you only want to bring them in, not bring them down or something. Okay, that's it. Right click on it, let's rebuild the target here and then drag it up. I don't need this one anymore, so delete it. And then let's use blend taper here to make a division plane. Okay. And then let's build shapes. At this time I make them a little bit far away from each other. Most of the reasons is because I think it's better to have them smoother instead of a really sharp transition there. It's going out, not going in. Again, so let's select those two and add those into the blend shape list. So it's all repetitive stuff. So right click on it and add selection as target. Now we have two more. They will be controlled by the same controller we have here. So right click on it and set active. And then let's find the red one here and let's use a negative X. For that one we're gonna use positive X here for the left side. Now if I drag those two sliders far away, it's gonna perform that. Okay. So sometimes I think it's more intuitive to see them this way. When you move them together, it looks like that. And sometimes I think also you can try to select this controller and rotate it 90 degrees. You know, that way when you drag them, it's gonna perform like that, which is, you know, more like the things more easy to control by drag them all together and drag them like this. So I guess that's your choice. So let me bring the other one back. Okay. And then let's see what I can do here. And after that, we need to do the eyelid. For the eyelid, I need the same flexibility as the eyebrow, so I need to actually break them up into multiple ones too. So let's start with the upper eyelid. Add a new target. This one will be, let's call it eyelid close. Okay, now let's close the eyelid. I need to see the eyelashes too when I'm doing that. Oh, and of course I need to also see the eyeball. So let me grab those too. Okay, making sure you have those things out there so it's easier for you to observe what's happening. Okay, let me grab the eyelid and drag it down all the way down to where it touches the lower eyelid. When you're dragging it down, be careful that you always want to go back to the one non-smooth preview mode because you want to see how the edge flow looks like on the actual model. So don't always use the smooth preview because it's gonna, you know, lie to you. It looks smooth, but it's probably not. Okay, let me drag this one down. Just to be careful and patient, let me take care of the corner here real quick. Okay. And maybe some vertex here I can drag to, you know, make the eyelashes fitting better over there. Okay. And then also some of the vertex need to be dragged individually to, you know, fix the edge flow there. This one I'm gonna drag it back because it's more like even out the geometry, is not pushing them out then. Okay, make a smooth transition. One more thing you may want to take care of is that from the side view you want to have it more like a curve. So this time for those vertex, I'm gonna drag them out. It looks dipping in is because the double eyelid thing I have when it opens, but you know, when people close their eye, the double eyelid actually goes away, so it's not there anymore. So let's even out the curvature here, especially for the side view. Okay, so you do need to have some extra work on those things, but it's better to make them better once and for all. You know, I don't think any corrective shape is needed here. Just make it good in the first place, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. I'm gonna try to drag those things down a little bit, you know, because the skin are connected, so they're gonna slide down and maybe going in. Okay, that looks good. Probably something here I want to fix. I think it's not completely closed over here, you know, hard to say, but yeah. Okay, I think that's good enough. Oh, sometimes when you had those weird marking menu, that's because you have the slider on. Let's close that window and everything will be okay. So that's the closing eye. Let me right click on it and rebuild the target and break this one up. I don't need those ones anymore, so delete those, and then go to blend taper and make division planes. Let's break it up into 2. Okay, for those 2, I just need to work on the right side here, so let me break this one up into 2 more. This time I'm gonna just make it fairly smooth, so maybe just a little bit over the edge here. Okay, and then I'll make the division plane, build shapes here. Okay, so those 2, and then for those 2, I'm just gonna break those 2 into 2 more. Again, a little over the edge. Okay. The closer you make those 2 division plane, the sharper the transition between those blend shapes will be. So I'm intent to make them smoother instead of very sharp transitions. So something like this. Okay. Now I have 4. I just need to Shift P to unparent those and delete that. And then let's rename those ones. This one on the far right side will be called the eyelid close 01. Okay, and you know what to do next, right? The other one will be 02, and the next one will be 03, and then 04. So 1, 2, 3, 4 from the right side to the left side. Let me reorganize them in the outliner here too, just for things to be easier to read. So 1, 2, 3, 4. and then duplicate 4, 4, 5, duplicate 3, 4, 6, duplicate 2, 4, 7, and duplicate the 0, 1, 4, 0, 8. Now I have 8 of those blend shapes. Select them one by one in the order from the right side to the left side, and then let's go back to the blend facial expressions and right click on it, and then add selection as target. Now we have all those here. Let me bring that one down. Probably don't need that one anymore, but you know, something you can always keep if you wanted to. Now I have those controllers or those blend shapes. If I drag those one up, they're also closing the right side, which is not correct. All I have to do is right click on them and flip targets to flip them to the other side. Okay, now that's that, and the other 4 will be the right side. Okay, now let's go create controllers. Just to make things easier for me, I'm just gonna duplicate those ones, you know, and move them down, and then let me just use those. They're named Eyebrow. We can try to rename them, but sometimes that just doesn't work for some reason. Rename eyelid. It's actually upper eyelid. You see, it does rename it, but it keeps those original shapes for some reason. But you know, for facial expression controllers, I don't think those things actually tells anything. You know, you cannot know what is controlling what by just try it a little bit. So I don't really worry about the naming here. Some facial expression controllers, they don't even have those names at all, so who cares? Let me go there and then connect them. So set active here, and then let me go back to the node editor here. That's my facial expression. So this one is going down, so I'm gonna use the negative Y instead. Set active. Let's uncheck these add to graph on create. That will fix that problem. Set active, and then the problem I mean is you keep getting weird stuff happening to your graph, just to keep things clean. So this one will be controlling this one here, the 0, 2 going down. Okay, we can drag them all down here so we know if they're controlling the right part. So set active here, and it's gonna be shape 3. Okay, and set active here, and this one is gonna be shape 4. Set active here, it's gonna be shape 5. Set active here, it's gonna be shape 6. All using negative Y as the direction here. Okay, now I have those to control the eyelid there. Okay, now the reason we need those variations is because we want to have shapes like this, you know, and maybe we want to have a more dramatic kind of shape when, you know, you want to do something like quite angry. So some shape like this could be needed. Okay. Now let's keep doing those blend shapes. The next one will be the upper eyelid open. So let's do there, add a new target, and then let's call this eyelid open. Oh, I always forget those things. So this time I forget to name it upper eyelid, because you know it's the upper eyelid. So let me rename them here real quick. Don't be lazy and don't name them. It's gonna be messing up really quick and you don't know what's happening there. So always renaming your things. If they're not correct, then rename them. Okay, the eyelid open here. To make it open, it's much easier. Let me select those important part that I need to know. Not that one. And then drag them up. Oh. I think it's okay to, you know, move the corner a little bit, because that's what happens when you drag it. When you actually open your eye, they kind of moves a little bit. Okay, so let me drag them up like that. We can probably using a corrective shape here to fix what's happening. There is some intersection here. Okay, let's worry about that later when we're doing corrective shapes. So for now, let's just skip them this way. Drag that one up. Again, you want to be like a little bit more exaggerated, because you know it's better to have those options to go further. Oh, and also when you drag them up, you need to drag them into, because the eyebrow is a bow, right? It does have curvature. Oh, let me go there and close my slider window. Drag them in. Okay, so that's the open. I think I need to drag something here too. Okay, cool. Let's break this one up. So right click in the shape editor here on the eyelid open. Let's rebuild the target. So it's all repetitive stuff, kind of boring to go over, like, you know, but let's just go over everything just in case you guys are not sure what kind of result you're looking for. But you know, blend shape is more like a design thing, so every character should be different. Let me make the division plane here and scale it in like that. Okay, and then build shapes. So I don't think using any auto rig to do facial expression is good, because you know, because of the particular reason that every character is having different facial expression, they have different personalities. So I always, you know, do blend shapes myself and don't rely on any auto rig. Oh, it's here. So I'm gonna drag them in. That. Okay. And I also break those two into 4. Same stuff. Alright, now we have 4. Parent those 4 and delete everything down there, and then start renaming them. This one is upper eyelid, open 01, 02, 03, and then 04. Let me organize their position. Okay, and duplicate 04 to create 05, 03 will be duplicated for 06, 02 will be duplicated for 07, and 01 will be duplicated for 08. Now select them all together, and then go to the facial expressions, right click on it, and add selection as target. Now we have 8 more different targets. Let's go there and select the last 4 there and drag them all up. Okay, now let's flip them. Okay. Oh, I don't need that one to be on. Okay, so that's that. And those 4 is for the other side. And then let's use the controllers to control them. Same process. Start active here, and then go back to the node editor. Select the blend shape. And then the first one will be controlling the eyelid open 01 shape. Use positive Y here. So just keep doing that. Hope I can make this list longer. Seems like I can't. So positive Y, set active, positive Y, set active, positive Y, set active, positive Y. Oh, not duplicate. Okay. Now we have those. Here we can make the eye go up and down like that. So you can have some kind of very side expression. Okay. And you can also have very angry ones. It's going down. Okay, of course with that. Alright, so with those things we have more flexibility on the shape of the eyelid and eyebrow. Those parts are the most part people will look at. On the facial expression, the eye is the window of your heart, right? So you have to make sure you have enough flexibility. You can give it any shape you want. So that's the upper eyelid. For the lower eyelid, it's the same process. So let me go over that real quick here. If you know what to do, you can stop this video tutorial and just do it on your own. So let's do it here. Let me do it once and for all here. I need 2 targets. One is for open, another one is for close. So this one is for eyelid, lower eyelid. Close. The other one is lower eyelid open. Okay, let's edit the close first. For the close, let me select the eyeball and the eyelids, eyelashes, and then drag them up. Okay. It's the same requirement. I really don't think I need to repeat them. So let me just do that here. I probably think that you cannot do that in real life, you know. But still, you will benefit from being able to do this, or close to this anyways. I guess that's also depending on if you're doing something very realistic or very cartoony, because in cartoony kinda facial expressions, you kinda expect some very exaggerated result anyways, so I'm just gonna even those out and go that far. Here you want to have a curvature because there is a eyeball underneath it, so it has to be something more like a curve from the side view. Okay, just making sure. Oh. Okay, good enough. Lower it down, right click on it, and then review target. This one will be breaked up into 4, 2, so I'm gonna do that here real quick. Use blend taper, space geometry, and make division plane, and make them really close. Build shapes. Oh, don't need those anymore. Oh, not that one actually. Okay. Unparent those and then delete those ones. Okay. So now it's the same process. I just need to rename them, so it's easier for me to recognize which one is which. This is the lower eyelid, close 01. That's 02, 03, and that's 04. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you know what to do next. Duplicate 4, 3 for the 6 one, 2 for the 7, 1 for 8. Now I have all 8 of those things. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Let's go to the shape editor and then add those as target. Just making sure that I flip them. So I'm just drag them up and flip. Okay. Now make connections. I need another set of controllers, so duplicate those ones. The way I duplicate them is select all the controllers and press up button and then Control D. It's hard to see what's happening, so I'm gonna select all the controllers I have and press up and group them together. Let's call this facial controllers. Okay, and then I'm gonna drag those down and make them smaller so it's easier to see. Okay. Set active here. This one I'm gonna use the positive Y to control because their eyelid closed there. So let's drag them up, just making sure that they're all controlling the right thing. I can make them go up first, and then set active here, and this one will be controlling the 0, 1. Okay. Set active 0, 2. Set active 0, 3. Set active 0, 4. Set active 0, 5. Set active 0, 6. Set active here, and then 0, 7, and then the last one will be this. Okay. Okay, so we can create some like laughing thing like that, or you know, the expression you have when you sneeze. And only one left, which is the eyelid open here. Opening is always easier. We just need to drag things down and in a little bit. So let's do that here real quick. Oh damn it! I'm having the slider open again, so let's go there and turn it off. It's easier to work on multiple monitors so I can have them all separated, so really hard to do here. Let me select those two and then drag them down. I probably need to see the eyeball to drag them down and drag them in. Our character is quite, you know, cartoony in some sense, so we don't have to go really detail on, you know, anatomy wise, you know, how she looks like too much, because it's all rounded and smooth, you know, and that makes things easier for us to do. Just even them out here. Again, you should treat blend shape more like a modeling process. So it's really that the most important thing is the deformation you get at the shape you're having here. Okay, I think that's good enough. So right click on it and rebuild target. Okay, I don't need those anymore. Okay, let's go use blend taper here and then make division plane. It's gonna take an hour to do all the things. Build shapes, because they're all repetitive and a lot to deal with. So guess patient, I guess patient is the thing you want to have. I think that's always true in anything that we do in 3D because they're tedious work. Build shapes. Okay. So break this one into two. A little bit over the edge of the range you're going for, you know, but you don't want to go too much. Normally, if you go too much when those two division plane are too close, you're getting a very chunky result. So you want to make them smooth. Just keep their distance. Okay. Shift P to unparent and delete those unnecessary ones. And let's rename those. So that one will be 01. So eyelid, lower eyelid, open 01, 02, 03, and then 04. And then duplicate them to create the other 4. And then I just need to select them from right side to the left side and then add those as target. Okay, 8 more. You see, we're getting a lot of blend shift, but don't worry, they will be fast enough. You never need to worry about having too much blend shift there. They will be okay. So let's lower that down. In fact, people create a lot of blend shapes if they need it. So that's actually not actually a lot. The basic line is that the bottom line is that you always want to have like around 200 to start with, and you need more to fix particular parts. So your blend shape could be like an army of blend shapes. So don't worry about creating too much. So here, let me start connecting those. Those are going down. So use open the window here, set active. Set active, and here I'm gonna use negative value. Let's drag them down in so we can see if they're doing that. Set active here, and that's gonna be that. Set active here. Okay, the next one. Okay, I forget to flip them. Something I always forget to do. Let's go there and flip the other 4 here. Okay, those need to be flipped. Okay, now I have those going down and going up. Great. Now last thing I want to have is that I want to have the a extra controller to control the blinking. So let me go there and create a new slider and then name this one blink. Drag it up. Let's use 2 vertical, but I also want to make it shrink limit. Let's shrink the positive Y and just only have the going down part. Duplicate this one for, oops, not the entire controller to create one for the other side. Now I need the blinking shape. One way I can do is creating a new target, but I can also try to use the control I already have here to close the eye. I only need one side also, so like that. Both the upper and lower eyelid should move a little bit. The lower eyelid is not moving that much. The upper eyelid will be the majority. Okay. Okay. And then I can duplicate this model. And unlock selected, and drag it up. This way only works when you zero out of the controller, your geometry is at the original shape. If you don't have that, then you probably need to redo the eye close blend shape anyways. So this only works when you don't have the weird movement on the finger or something when you move the controller here when you create those blend shapes. So just be aware of that, otherwise you may want to redo the blend shape for the eyelid, for the eye blinking, and don't rely on those. But I'm sure that mine is okay, so I duplicate from there. For the blinking, I just need one. So with that one selected, let's see how I name it. I'm gonna name this one left. It's actually right. Blink. Okay, I duplicate this one. Let's name this one left blink. Okay, now select those two and then add those two as target. Okay, of course we need to flip the left one, so flip this one. Okay, I don't need to see this one anymore, or see those. Just delete those ones, keep things clean. And then let me go zero out the controllers here I already have, and then I can use those two controllers to control the blinking. Drag them down and select this one, set active. That's gonna control the right side, so will be this one, negative Y. The other one will be the left side, negative Y. Oh, I didn't actually flip it. So let me go there and flip it real quick. Okay, now it's flipped. And I have a blinking here. It's easier to do it, have an individual control to control that, because that's going to be happen a lot in animation. So that's why we have an individual one to control those. But we also have those ones to, have the flexibility to make different, make anything different. Oops, I think that I have a duplicated controller there. Let me just delete that. Okay, it's all good, all okay now, and that's what we went over last class. Actually, no new stuff is introduced, no new technique, just repetitive stuff to do blend shapes. I know it's a lot of work, but you can do interesting shapes now. Something like this. So your assignment, like what I mentioned, I already posted that long ago. I need some expression experiment. So just try to do at least 3: a happy, a angry, and a sad, 3 expressions, and see how you can create those things using those controllers we already have here. It's gonna be fun. Okay. Next class we will do something more on the eyelid to make the eyeball to be able to collide with the eyelid, which is going to be more interesting. So see you guys next class.